perfect family is what we try to be. The closer you might see the crazy things we do. This isn't make-believe, it's our reality. Just your average family trying to be normal and stay out of trouble, living a double life.
What's up? Today we got Thurman's Undercover, Season 1, Episode 1, Thundercover. Okay. This episode starts off at the Thunder House with Phoebe saying, "Okay, Thunderman, she hereby calls this T-Force meeting to order." She doesn't understand it, but Chloe says, "Hey, what about they forgot the popcorn." Max says, "She's right." And Max uses the seed breath to make popcorn. Phoebe says, "Okay, first item." And Hank says, "You can't have popcorn without drinks." And Max says, "Drinks flying in." And Barb says, "She has to have hers ice cold." So Phoebe uses freeze breath on the drink. Phoebe says, "We good? Alright." She's first happy to report that Bradford, Cherry, Mrs. Wong, Oyster, and Gideon, yeah, she says others for some odd reason, but no, I put Oyster and Gideon because Phoebe just says Cherry, Mrs. Wong, and the others. Bradford, Cherry, Mrs. Wong, and the others. Like, bro, Phoebe. What about Gideon and Oyster? Yeah, they had all their superpowers removed. Yeah, this is definitely not going to come back later and be a plot convenience or Phoebe's going to trick them. No, they definitely had their powers removed. But still. And she's unhappy to report that Mrs. Wong even hates them even more now for taking away her purple tornado powers. Max says, "Next item, Billy and Nora are on a mission fighting Dr. Plutonium. They're waiting status report. Billy speeds in saying it's going well after speeding out." And yeah, we don't see Billy. It's kind of weird that I guess we do see Billy later on this season, but it's unconfirmed whether Addis and Ricky will reprise their role as Nora for this show. Like, there's been no news. Addison hasn't said herself if she wants to come back. So her return is being left up in the air of if Nora's gonna be in this show. She could be like, yeah, it can be their show and she doesn't want to be in it, or she'll return. We don't know yet. There's only been like 10 episodes there, now I'm only reviewing, and I haven't seen them all. So I'm just saying that Addison Ricky is currently it's unknown if she'll ever appear. So yeah, because in this episode because in this season we have Cherry, Bradford, Billy, and Barb and Hank have their own episodes, I've heard. But Nora, and I don't even know if Mrs. Wong can have her own episode. So yeah. And yeah, Billy speeds in just like in Rhythm and Shoes, saying it's going well. Just like how in Rhythm and Shoes, how Billy speeding in and out without any Billy. Just like how in season 4, episode 20, Rhythm and Shoes, how Billy sped in without saying any lines. This time he speeds in without saying one line, saying it's going good. Kind of weird. At least they gave him a line, unlike in Rhythm and Shoes, where he said nothing. Max said, "Thanks, Billy." Phoebe says, "Last item. They're getting reports of a downed electro tower in Hinsville city limits." Barb says, "Ready to light it up?" Hank says, "Always, Barb. Thunderman, away!" And they fly away. Chloe says, "Hey, he took their popcorn." Thundermonitor says, alerts them to two stylish preteens approaching. Chloe says, "Oh, those must be her new friends." Guys, this is Tiff and Blair, the most annoying characters. Actually, I don't like them, but I don't like Tiff and Blair. I don't. They're so annoying. They remind me of Nora's annoying popular friends from also Rhythm and Shoes. But in that episode, Nora was ditching them for Chloe. But this time, Chloe's not ditching anyone for them. She just thinks they're her friends when they're not really. Yeah. But they have the most annoying voices. They take Yas from those other from Heather and the other one to an annoying level. And I couldn't get any level of them saying yes. But no. They talk. I got annoyed. Again, nothing against the actors. It's just I don't even know if that's their actual voices. Phoebe says, "Oh, they must be new friends Chloe's been talking about." Tiff says, they love Chloe. Yeah, literally, they love. And Blair says, yeah, they love Chloe. They love Chloe so much. Max says, why are they calling you Chloe? Chloe says, it's for her brand. Tiff and Blair say that. Tiff and Blair says that. Say that famous superheroes should have their own merch. Tiff says, check out their product. It's so brill. Yeah, literally, Phoebe wouldn't let Barb say that, but she'll let this preteen girl say it. Chloe says, for the young, the Chloe Scrunch A. And Tiff says, for the old, the Chloe Home Security A. The Home Security A. Again, this is gonna feel weird. Phoebe says, wow, that sounds like someone's really embracing their fame. Chloe says, Tiff and Blair say that being famous, and I was like, who cares what Tiff and Blair say? Man, this is the start of the new series, and I'm already disliking these two. At least they don't also. At least they're only in this one episode. But man, or they could come back later to get revenge on Chloe, but man, are they annoying. Man, are Tiff and Blair the most annoying characters. I had to look them up multiple times to see which one I was writing about because they're so annoying. I couldn't even tell which one was which. I looked up their names on the wiki multiple times because I couldn't tell which one was which one was Tiff and which one was Blair. I wish I got it, but yeah. Chloe said, Tiff and Blair say that being famous is the superpower, and Blair says, "Oh, Chloe, Chloe." Phoebe says she thinks this is making her sick. A. Max says, me too. A. Phoebe says, Chloe, can I talk to her in the kitchen for a sec? Chloe says, be right there. And Phoebe says, Chloe thinks those girls are her real friends, but they clearly like her because she's famous too. Max says, I know. Classic popular kids. As him being a former popular kid, he'll handle it. Chloe says, what's up? Max says, Chloe, your friends suck. Chloe, how do I put this gently? Your friends suck. Like, literally. Phoebe says, what he's trying to say that Tiff and Blair seem awesome. Chloe says, thanks, so they're good. And Phoebe says, well, it just means they might like you for your fame and power. Maybe too much. Chloe says, well, are you judging me? Are you judging my friend? Phoebe says, Max's best friend is a supervillain that Hank turned into a rabbit. Max says, he and Colosso have a lot in common. Chloe says, do you poop in a cage? Man, yeah, literally. This show starring Chloe is coming off sassy. She's coming out with a bit of rebellion. Max says, Max says, well, Constance says, don't knock it till you try it. And Phoebe says, they just want to make sure Chloe's friends like her for the right reason. Chloe says, I think I'm good, but thanks for the friendship lesson before teleporting out. And then teleporting back and saying, yep, that was sarcasm, right? And Phoebe's like, yeah, we know. Chloe says she swears sometimes. Max and Phoebe treat her like she's 12 years old. She's 12 and a half. Even though her actress is like now 14. But still, she's playing a 12 and a half year old. She's a 14-year-old playing a 12 and a half year old. Tiff says it's good to vent, but let's do it in Paris. And they teleport out. She says, poor Chloe, she has no idea those girls are taking advantage of her. Max says, I know. Why does she care who poops in the cage? Thunderman alerts them to Super President Kikra calling. Super President Kikra says, Thunder Twin. They detected some evil transmissions in the town of Secret Shore. She needs Phoebe and Max to pose as civilians and find out who's behind it. Phoebe says, sounds like they're going undercover. Roll credits. Max says, yeah, he's out. Superman says they'll be staying in the Super Beach condo. Max says, and he's back in. But how do they put a civilian? They're famous superheroes. Superman Kikra says, not in Secret Shores. But they've wiped all their internet presence and replaced it with an adorable hedgehog. Max says, oh no, his fans won't understand for this. Oh, look at the little hedgehog. He says, Superman says, she'll send over the mission details. Superman Kikra out. Phoebe says, what are they going to do about their other... Phoebe says, what are they going to do about their other mission? Max says, get in shape. Done and done. Phoebe says, no. What about trying to impress Chloe's friend? What about trying to help Chloe with her fake friends? I mean, if everyone knew they were superheroes when they were her age, everyone knew they were superheroes when they were Chloe's age, they never made normal friends. That's why they turned out fine. And Max says he loves his biceps. Phoebe says he loves his biceps. And Phoebe says, I mean, that's why she turned out fine. Max says, wait, Max, what if they tell Chloe that they need her on this mission? They'll say that her assignment is to go undercover at the school, and she'll find out what it's like to have real friends who don't know she's famous. Max says, or they tell Chloe they need her on the mission. She makes new friends who don't know she's famous. And they leave to tell Chloe. Costa says, heard they're going on vacation. Hey, where'd you go? Then Costa gets a call from the mysterious villain from the ending of the Thunderman's Returns cliffhanger, saying, hello, Dr. Colosso. Costa says, hey, he's the guy who called him a few months back. Meaning that I guess Thunderman's Undercover was chronologically already a few months ago. Which is kind of funny that literally it only been a year in time, but it's a few months ago for them. Why you ghosted? Thought they were gonna make beautiful love together. The mysterious villain says, love more evil than Costo ever imagined. After the opening, which I originally didn't like the intro for this show, but after learning that that this show is the first Thunderman series to start off with a narration. And the only reason why they had to add a narration was because Kira Costman said that when they were testing out the theme song to test audiences, the test audience thought that Phoebe and Max were old enough to be Chloe's parents. So they had to add the narration where Chloe literally tells the audience that Phoebe and Max Phoebe and Max, her and her brother and sister are going to fight crime. Are fighting crime together in a different city. Obviously, some people will see it and be like, oh, they're related. Because as I watched the original show, But yeah, it's basically just the same. It's basically just the same the original song, except for instead of having like moving credits where they show all the characters, all they show the pictures of the characters while their names crossed by them like the original. This show has clips from the show itself as the intro plays. Like you see Phoebe turning into a Santa for some reason, someone in a parrot costume, and I guess that's someone in a parent costume, and Chloe having fireworks. So yeah. I just want to know, why is Phoebe dressing up like Santa? I guess we'll find out as we review all the episodes of this season to find out why Phoebe is dressing up as Santa. But yeah, in the original one, I liked about it is that you could like you had all the it had like moving action, like you had like Max freezing the logo, freezing Phoebe's actress's name, Phoebe using telekinesis against hers, Billy Nora lasering hers, Billy speeding across his, Hank throwing up the chair, and Barb electrocuting her title. It was really cool. But in this one, they just have clips from the episodes. And that's the kind of thing I have against it. I like the song. They actually did release the song fully. And I liked it, and I like it. I like how they talk about the beach vibes and the Thurman kids are in disguise. Like, that's cool. But why'd you have to show clips? Like, why'd you have to show clips from the episode? It kind of spoils it. So, after the opening, Cherry... Wait, why is it Cherry? Chloe, Phoebe, and Max teleport to the beach condo. Or as I'm calling it, the Thunder condo. Because now that they live there, it's now like you have the Thunder house, and now you have the Thunder condo. So, at the after the opening in Secret Shore, Chloe, Max, and Phoebe teleport into the Thunder condo. Phoebe says, "What?" And Max says, Phoebe says, "This place." Chloe says, "This place is sick." Chloe says, "This place is sick. Thanks for bringing her on the mission." He says, "3 of them are going to make a great team." Clausen says, "Don't you mean 4? She means 4. And Max says, Do you listen to him?" And Clausen says, why start now? Like, Lou, it seems like in this entire episode, Max has had none of the Colosso's crap. Like, Lou, in the original show, they seem to get along fine. But in Thurman's undercover, Max just is tired of Colosso's antics. Like, in the original show, when Max was evil and when Max turned good, it seemed like he and Colosso had a good thing, like, were friends. But in this episode, Max cannot stand Colosso one bit and seems to want nothing to do with him. So he says, "Look, they have a portrait." And it's just the 3 of them. It's literally just the regular portrait from the family, the T-Force portrait from the family home. Except for now it's just the 3 of them. Max says, "Colosso, do you..." Yeah, anyway. Colosso says he doesn't see... He's not in it, but whatever, it's cool. Then Darren Norris, who played Dirk Trumbo in the Thunder game, returns. Of course, he's not Dirk Trumbo because that dude was a jerk. This time he's playing Thunderford, the Thunderman. This time he's playing Thunderford, the Thunderman's British assistant who just serves the same role as the Thunder Monitor did, except for this time, he basically is the Thunder Monitor for Secret Shore, except for this time he talks and he can interact with them. And he's played by Dean Norris. Wait, no, Darren Norris. He's played by Darren Norris. Darren Norris. He's played by Darren Norris. Of course, we know him as Dirk Trumbo. And his greatest line, "Family, I'm Commander Dirk, for me, Commander Dirk Trumbo." But anyway, just saying, kind of funny that Darren Norris is in this. And he's playing a different character. And they don't question why he looks exactly like Dirk Trumbo. Maybe doesn't even question being like, "Hey, you kind of look like the former Super President Kick Butt's assistant, Dirk Trumbo." But this time, he's just playing on a British accent. Yeah. And Terranor there, yeah. And Darren Norris appears. Then, yeah, Darren Norris appears on a hologram saying he's Thunderfudd, the Butcher assistant. He's tasked with aiding them in any way on this mission. Max says, "Can you give him a sword? He's part." Thunderfudd says, "Get yourself. What do I look like, your mommy?" And Phoebe says, she likes him. And Max says, "This beast house is amazing. The only thing missing is a slide." Thunderfoot says, "Are you sure about that?" Twist that starfish on the wall. Max does so and reveals an anti-gravity slide will take them to their new command center. Yes, they have a command center now. They have a command center now. Max says, "Anti-gravity slide? That's impossible." Chloe says, "Look, really, look closer." And Max gets sucked up the slide. Phoebe says, "Well played." And Chloe says, "It just felt right." Remember she was saying Max was her favorite back to season 3? Like, literally, you would, like, is Max her favorite now? Is she doing this to him? Poor Max. I love him. I miss him. Poor Max. Chloe and Phoebe get sucked up the slide to their new command center. Chloe says, "That was awesome." Phoebe says, "So is this room." Max says he's calling it the air layer because he wanted to call it to his treehouse, but he couldn't. But it got destroyed. So now he's decided to name the command center the air layer. The air layer. Thunderford says, "How are they liking the command center?" Max says, "Air layer." Thunderford says, "It comes equipped with a state-of-the-art gadgetry, a super snack station, and a party mode." Chloe says, she's gonna like this air layer." Phoebe says, "All right, let's make a plan. Those transmissions are coming from somewhere in town, so she will investigate." Phoebe says, "What do they want her to do?" Phoebe says, Chloe's gonna go undercover as a student at a school and just hang out and make friends. Like a normal, non-famous, non-soup girl. Chloe says, "Why, how does that help with the mission?" And Phoebe says, "Well, let's go see if that, place has a hot tub." Max says it can't hurt gliding down the slide. It can't hurt sliding down. Yeah, it can't hurt sliding down. Then Colosso gets sucked up and hits Max. Max says he was wrong. Colosso says maybe they should take this here. Max says, "Why is Colosso everywhere?" Like, literally, he's done with this rabbit. And Max says, Colosso, like, "Max, we're a duo. Max can't quit him." Like, literally, like, bro. Like, why is Max so fed up with Colosso in this episode? Colosso's done nothing wrong. I guess sneaking into their thing was kind of wrong. But other than that, he's done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong otherwise. So Max shouldn't be this upset at him. It's kind of like, this is unwarranted. Like, literally, Max and Colosso are usually cool with each other. But this is unwarranted means. This is unwarranted meanness. Yeah, Colossus, yeah. But then the mysterious villain from before contacts Colosso again, saying, "Dr. Colosso, good job getting yourself to Secret Shores like he asked. Now into Phase 2. Colosso says, "How about Phase? Tell him what's in it for him. What's in this for Colosso?" The mysterious villain says, "He can make Colosso human again." And Colosso says, "Human? So it'll be so he can go for walks without Hawks carrying him away. Mysterious Villain says, and all Colosso has to do is find the key cards hidden in the condo that by a superhero that used to live there. Colosso says, on it. Thanks, creepy guy. And as Colosso leaves, the mysterious villain says, and with that key card, Max and Phoebe Thunderman will be mine. Or his. But mine. His. But still, he's now going after Phoebe Max. But Colosso didn't hear all that. Meanwhile, at Secret Store's middle school, technically it's not a high school, but it's a middle school. But saying Secret Store's high is better. Meanwhile, at Secret Store's middle school, Max says, middle school. High school is an annoying young little brother. Phoebe says, alright, Chloe, remember, it's kind of funny that we haven't been at middle school before. We've always been to the high school, but now we're in a different location. That's a middle school in a different town. So, says, alright, Chloe. Phoebe says, alright, Chloe. Remember, her very important mission at the school is to make friends. Chloe says, how? Back home, everyone knew I was a soup. It was very easy to make friends. Phoebe says, well, you don't have to be famous to make friends. Just join the robotics club. Max says, yeah, Phoebe. They want her to make friends, not robots. Her idea is dumb. Phoebe says, how many friends have Max helped Chloe make? Calculating, 0. Phoebe said, then Chloe approaches a hippie girl and a guy named Jinx. A hippie girl saying, what's up? She's Chloe. She's new. The hippie girl says she's kombucha, but everyone calls her booch, which I will, because it's better than calling her kombucha. Wait, no. She says her name is kombucha, but she says her name is kombucha. Were they turtles together in a past life? Chloe says she does look kind of familiar. Jinx says, don't mind Booch. She's very spiritual. He's Jinx, by the way. Chloe says, why do you call you Jinx? And Booch says, because of his bad luck. Jinx says he doesn't have bad luck. The people near him do. That's when a teacher falls, and Jinx says, see? Klutz. Chloe says, it's so cool they're skateboarders. Her friends back home say, never want to skate. Jinx says, they're not skateboarders. They're snakeboarders. Booch says, yeah, they teaching your snakes that can't learn anymore how to skate. Why can't we do that? Why a fictional show is Booch and Jinx teaching people how to skate, but we as people can't? Why is a fictional show doing it, but we can't? Chloe says, that's the weirdest thing she's ever heard. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I'm in. Phoebe says, look, Chloe, Max is making friends. Well, that's happening. Alright, let's see if they can find out these evil transmission are coming from. Max says he's detected one, but he can't find a source. It looks like it was sent to the Thunder Condo. Phoebe says, wait, that's impossible. The only person at home is Colosso. Yeah, they literally. Meanwhile, at the Thunder Condo, which is definitely not a name, Colosso said he found the key card now. Take him to Human Town, Pally. The Ministry Villain says, oh, Colosso, I was never going to make you human. What'd you think that? Yeah, what'd you think that? I was never going to turn you human, Colosso. I liked you. Like, literally. It's like, Colosso says, what's this? What? That's why they don't say talk to strangers on the internet. Well, he's not getting this key card. Mysterious Villain says, you mean the key card I just took the screenshot of to 3D print replica? Bye. I kind of like this antagonist. Colosso says, he totally didn't think that's true. Max says, Colosso, what did you do? Because it seems like in this episode, I'm really out to get you. Phoebe says, spill it, furball. The bathing suit gets it. Claw says, not his cashmere one piece. It's the only thing that Hyde's dad bought. Speaking of dad, Clauso, did you forget about Balfour, your son, that you apparently still talk that we don't know what happened to? Meanwhile, Hilltop, a creepy villain tricked him into finding a key card hidden in the house. Max says, how could Colosso? Colosso says, sorry, Max, but he offered to make him human again. Bodies before buddies. Just like how Diamond Bolt said, Gohans before Hohans. Chloe says, snakeboarding was so sick. Helping injured snake is rewarding. Jinx says, and dangerous. Is the snake way gonna heal right away? Chloe says, she guesses. She should head back inside. Max and you are probably looking for her. Jinx says, it must be cool living with them. Chloe says, totally, there's no rule. And she ate dinner in the bathtub last night. Jinx says, Chloe's living the dream. Max says, Max says, the superhero High Tide used to live here. He tried to he tried to get in contact with him, but he was eaten by a giant clam. Phoebe says, that happens more than you think. Oh, she knows. She can ask Thunderford. Thunderford says, hello, Phoebe. Max, lazy pants. Max says, at least he has pants. Phoebe says, she wanted to ask about a key card hidden somewhere in the house. Thunderford says, that key unlocks a weapons vault containing the Giga Gauntlet, a powerful weapon belonging to an evil tech genius named Malware. He waged crime speed across secret shores until he was defeated by High Tide, who locked away his gauntlet and hid the key card. Phoebe says, so Malware must be trying to get his gauntlet back, so they better suit up. Pressing a button to transform into the T-Force suit. Phoebe says, pressing a button to transform into their T-Force suit is way better than dealing with a zipper. Max says, okay, let's take Chloe so she can teleport to the weapon before Malware gets there. Chloe didn't teleport to anyone, but they don't know that. Phoebe says they can't. Chloe's hanging out with a new friend. Making friends is the whole reason they brought her on this mission. Chloe, obviously shocked by this, says, what? You only brought me on this mission to make friends? You only brought me to Secret Shore to make friends? I thought they needed her for a secret mission. Max says, Chloe, they can explain. Phoebe says they were worried Tim and Blair back home were just using Chloe for her fame and teleporting powers. They brought her here so she can make real friends who don't know she's a suit. Chloe says, and she told them she doesn't need their help making friends. Max says, Chloe, you understand. Phoebe says, Max, you don't understand. I'm not some mission for you to solve. Chloe says, well, that's not what they're doing. Max says, it's kind of what they're doing. Phoebe says, okay, maybe it's kind of what they're doing. Phoebe says, they're just looking out for her. They were just looking out for her. They were looking out for you, Chloe. Chloe said, don't bother. She's going back to Hiddenville before teleporting out. Phoebe says, well, Chloe was really upset. They have to go back home and talk. One, how? How are you getting back home? The only person that... Okay, so here's the thing that happens, Phoebe. One, how are you getting back home? The only person that can teleport you back home just left. And two, how are you getting back home? The only person that can teleport you back home just angrily walked out on you. So, how can you get back home? Max says, there's no time. They have to get to that weapons before Malware does. Thunderman alerts them to Superman Kickwood calling. Superman Kickwood says, Thunderman, she sees word that Malware has escaped from prison and stolen his Giga Gauntlet. Phoebe says, oh no, they're too late. They're too late. Meanwhile, at Malware's lair, Max says, okay, it looks like Thunderford was right about the location of Malware's lair. Phoebe says, quiet, they don't want to hear it. Malware, played by Chuck from iCarly, yes, that's who he plays. He was also Lenny in Pear King. And he also reprised his boy's truck 2 years prior. Wait, no, a year prior. Yeah, a year prior. He reprised his road truck a year prior in the court scene. But still, he says, yeah, Mallory says, welcome to my lair. Can I get you anything? Drinks, muffins, lasers. Pew 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 pew. Max says he would have picked muffins. Mallory says he bankrupted his dad's tech company building the gauntlet. Pretty dope, huh? He says, yep, there's definitely a dope here. Mallory says Giga Gauntlet doesn't like that she made fun of him. He wants to defend Mallory's honor. They're doing they have freeze breath. So Phoebe freezes Malware. So anyone asks, he did that. When they did that. He did. If anyone asks, he did that. Phoebe says, look, his computer's frozen. Max says, if anyone asks, he said that. Phoebe says, well, they could use Chloe teleport Malware to prison if they didn't butt into her friend's life. Max says, hey, he's not the one who wanted her to sign for robotics can. And as they're arguing, Malware's Giga Gauntlet melts and unfreezes him, which is kind of. Phoebe says, listen, he's signing for robotics camp. Phoebe says those kids are building the future. Max, but it doesn't matter as long as they move Malware, who's now unfrozen. So Malware blasts at them, and Malware says Giga Gauntlet saved him, or unfroze him. So they they saved each other. Meanwhile, at the Thunder House, back in Hinsdale at the Thunder House, Hank says, "Do you hear that, Barb?" Barb says, "She doesn't hear anything." Hank says, "Yeah, exactly. All the kids are gone. They're all alone for the first time ever." Barb says, "Are you all?" Hank, right? What do they do? Hank says, "What don't they do?" But then they find his room and Chloe, Tiff, and Blair teleport in. Hank says, "It's okay, Barb. It was a brief moment of touch. They touched the sun." Barb says, "Why isn't Chloe on the mission?" Chloe, instead of telling them what happened, just said, ask noted friend experts Max and Phoebe. Instead of just telling them, hey, Max and Phoebe only brought her on the mission because they were trying to keep her away from her friends. We're trying to think that she needed real friends. And that's how you tell a person. Hank says, "Ooh, sounds serious." He means they shouldn't. Ooh, sounds serious. He means they should probably talk. Are those Eclairs? Tiff says, "Hands off those Eclairs. They're not any Eclairs. They're Chloe Eclairs. Yeah, they're Chloe Eclairs." Blair says, "Yeah, they're the hottest new product in the Chloe verse." Barb says, let's leave Chloe and her friends. Let's leave Chloe and her friend alone with her sloppy friends. Hank says, let him smell them. Tiff says, "Oh, Chloe, they've missed her so much. What are they gonna do? Where's Chloe? Where are they gonna teleport them to?" Chloe says, "Guys, do you think they could do stuff? Can they have a regular friend night? Maybe go to see the Quick and Angry 7? Tiff says, "Ew, why?" And Blair says, how is that gonna make them famous?" Chloe says, is fame all they care about?" And Tiff says, "No, they care about her teleporting powers." Blair says, "Now take them to shopping to buy." So Chloe teleports them out on the front porch. Blair says, "Chloe, why are they on the front porch?" And Tiff says, "This isn't goodbye." And Chloe says, "No, it's goodbye." And it's not, and her name is, and it's not Chloe. Her name is Chloe. Yeah, and she slams the door in their faces, and we never see them again. Good. That's what they deserved. They were annoying characters. Meanwhile, Malware's lair. Phoebe and Max are captured, and Malware says, "So now, where were we? Oh, right, the latest moments on Earth." That's right. His gauntlets are laughing at them. Time to meet their firewall. Max says, look, Phoebe, it's a fancy wall." But then the wall breathes fire. Max says, "Oh, Phoebe, look, Phoebe, it's a wall." Phoebe says, Phoebe tries to use her freeze breath, but it creates more fire. Malware says, Malware says, Malware says he didn't want it. Malware says his research on her was right. Her free breath is useless against their firewall. Phoebe says, and Max is a whiny little chicken baby. Phoebe says, she researched them. Malware says he did more than that. He sent those evil transmissions so the Hero League would send Phoebe and Max to control so he could get his gauntlet back. Max says, what's up with this whole gauntlet thing? Is it like a weapon of his? His only friend? Weapon of his only friend? Is his only friend? Malware says it's his weapon and his only friend. Without it, he couldn't have captured them. Taking down the Thunder Twins is really going to impress the mastermind. So he says, who's that? His other glove? Malware says no. The mastermind is building a new, better villain league, and he wants in. He means he and his gauntlet want in. So, which means he has to take out the Thunder Twins. And he's about to blast them on fire when Chloe comes in last second and saves her butt. Because, of course, she realized that, yeah, saving them is better than being with Tiff and Blair. Yeah, Chloe teleports in and teleports their cuffs off. Next is Chloe. Well, when they come back, Chloe says, they were right. Tiff and Blair were just using her. Phoebe says, they said she'd see eventually that they see they're sorry. They treat her like a mission. Max says, from now on, we'll respect her boundary. If they survive, Malware says, Thundermans, and Max says, everyone down. They gotta get the glove off that nerd. She says, what's that name calling? Watch it, buttface. Max says, what if Chloe can teleport the gauntlet in? Gauntlet off him. Like she did their cup. She says, no, it's dangerous. Hank and Barb would be really mad at them if Chloe got fried by a gauntlet. Chloe says, let her do it. Max says, no, Phoebe's right. It's too dangerous. But Chloe decides to go out there anyway. Malware says, oh, Chloe Thunderman. She'll have better do better than that. Chloe says, oh, I will. And then Chloe teleports each time to avoid his laser blast. And then she knocks out and she teleports his gauntlets away. He says, no. Chloe says, gotcha. And Malware says his gauntlets were the only ones that came to his birthday party. Phoebe says, now Max, so they freeze Malware. Max says, good work, team. Chloe says, gauntlets are coming with her. But then they blast. But then she blasts them, so Phoebe says, maybe they should all into it. And Chloe says, Phoebe's right. Meanwhile, at the Thunder condo, I still like that name, Chloe and Max fight over the last pizza. Max says, she's got dip. And Chloe says, she saved Max's life. And Phoebe says, Chloe's got a point. Thunderford says, Thunderford alerts them to Super President Kickbutt calling. Super President Kickbutt says, good job capturing Malware, Thunderman. Even though it was basically Chloe who did all the work because they were sitting around dodging. So shouldn't you be saying good work, Chloe? Because Chloe actually caught him. They froze him and put him to jail. It was Chloe who allowed them to do it. So you're basically just should be thanking Chloe because she's the one who actually did the work. Phoebe says, thank you, Super President Kickbutt, even though we didn't do any of the work, and Chloe was the one that apprehended him and allowed us to freeze him. But no, we're just gonna say thank you, Super President Kickbutt. And don't worry, they put Colossus on house arrest for his crime. Colossus jokes on her. He looks jokes on you. I look great in orange. Max says, but who is this mastermind guy Malware was talking about? Super Keeper says, they looked into it. Here's an encrypted message they found on the web of the mastermind saying he's the mastermind. He's looking for the worst, most violent of supervillains to come to Secret Shore and join his new villain league. They will take over Secret Shore, and then the world. Super Keeper says, and as they can see, the mastermind poses an incredible threat to Secret Shore and beyond this mission. And it's a bigger mission. And beyond this mission, it's going to get a lot bigger. Yeah, and beyond. This mission is going to get a lot bigger. Phoebe says their mission's not over, and Super Keeper says, nope, it's only just beginning. It's probably taking entire seasons to take this guy down. Superman Kickbutt, out. Chloe says, wait, if they're staying, does that mean she can stay? She says, I don't know, Chloe. I mean, taking down the mastermind could take weeks or longer. Or a whole season, because that's how long it usually takes. Chloe says, she doesn't want to leave. She's finally starting to see what it's like to be normal and have friends. That's them now. It's time to say goodbye. Booch says, ready for the quick and angry 7. And Jinx says it's supposed to be quicker, but a little less angry. Chloe says she'd love to, but she turns out she's going to be leaving. Phoebe says, for the movies a little later. Max says, Chloe can meet them at the theater. Chloe says, what? She can say, thank you so much. Booch says, wouldn't it be weird if she got in on this hug? And Jinx says, yes, very. And that's their scenes for the episode. So see you in the next episode, Jinx and Booch. Phoebe says, this is the best. Are they seriously letting her stay? Max says, yeah, are they? Phoebe realizes it's not to feed Chloe and change her diapers. Chloe says, Max, she's 12 and a half. And Phoebe says, saves their lives, they know. They'll definitely need Chloe's help. Max says, welcome to the team, Chloe. And Chloe says, this is going to be so much fun. And Phoebe says, see ya. And Phoebe says, this is not a vacation. This is not so fast. This is not a vacation. This is a mission, not a vacation. Chloe says, mission that starts tomorrow. See ya. And Phoebe says, not so nice try, Thunder Baby. Look, if they're gonna be watching Chloe, they need to set some ground rules, starting with a curfew. Max says, nah, she can follow the Max code. It's a great party, come home late. The party's great, come home late. Phoebe says, no, she'll follow the Phoebe code. Everything will be fine if she comes home by 9. Phoebe says, she likes Max's code better. Don't wait up, and Chloe teleports out. Phoebe says, this is gonna be tough. Max says, bring down Mastermind or taking care of Chloe. And Phoebe says, both, to end the episode. So that was the first episode of Thunderman's Undercover. Thundercover. Kind of a title. But yeah, this felt kind of like a different show than the original. I liked it. I'm excited to see more, and even though there are currently 10 episodes airing, I only have 5 episodes on Paramount Plus that I can watch. Currently. I'll have to find the rest on another Paramount Plus. But yeah. So that was Thundercover. Next episode we got Faulty Powers, where the story is about where Chloe, after a mix-up, Chloe, after something goes wrong, Chloe's powers start going haywire. So Max must figure out how to stop it as Chloe goes to the Splat by Sea dance with Jinx and Booch. Which, Splat by the Sea is literally this show's version of Splatburger. They even have a picture of Mrs. Wong and and they press a button where Mrs. Wong's picture will say stuff that Mrs. Wong said. So it's kind of interesting. Now, we haven't got Mrs. Wong yet in this season, but at least we have her in spirit. At least we have Mrs. Wong in spirit. At least we don't have Mrs. Wong yet, but at least we have her in spirit in a picture. It seems like Mrs. Wong is company president of Spot Burger, and she owns a bunch of different chains. So, yeah, man, Mrs. Wong really got busy over those 3 years. She now owns a bunch of chains. And since we now know that this series takes place a few months after Thunderman's return. So, yeah. But it's kind of weird that Billy only got speeding effect. And it's kind of weird that Nora isn't. We don't know if Nora's going to appear yet. And man, it was still Blair annoying. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for Season 1, Thunderman's Undercover. Season 1, Episode 2, Faulty Power. Now that we're on this show and now I'm all caught up on this series, I'm really excited to review these each week and each day or each week and see how these get better, because man, this was a fantastic premiere for this show, and it cannot get any better than this. So see you next time, and remember, see you next time. And next time we got Season 1, Episode 2, Faulty Powers, baby. We got Faulty Powers, baby. Yeah, exactly. Chloe's line, because Chloe's the main character of the show. Phoebe Max is just side character. This is the Chloe Show.